Imagine launching your own whey protein brand. You design a sleek container, create a powerful logo, choose the perfect flavor, build a website, and suddenly your product is sitting beside some of the biggest names in fitness. From the outside, the business looks incredibly attractive. You don't need hundreds of stores. You can sell directly online. Customers can order from anywhere. And every empty tub creates the possibility of another sale. For someone looking at the fitness industry from the outside, it almost seems like the perfect product. And there's another reason the business looks so appealing. Whey protein gets consumed. A customer doesn't buy one tub and keep it for 10 years. Every shake makes the container a little emptier. Eventually, the customer needs more. If they enjoyed the flavor, trust the product, and like the brand, they may simply order the exact same tub again, then again, and again. And suddenly, one customer isn't worth a single purchase. They could become months or even years of repeat business. And that's where the economics start becoming very interesting. At first, the formula seems almost too good to be true. Manufacture the protein, put it inside a branded container, sell it online, then wait for customers to come back when they run out. But there's one problem. There are already countless brands trying to do exactly the same thing. Rows of protein tubs compete for the same customer. Similar ingredients, similar flavors, similar promises, and often remarkably similar products. So if everyone can sell protein, why do customers choose one brand over another? That question changes everything. Because building a whey company isn't really about putting powder into a tub. It's about giving people a reason to choose yours. So how do you actually create your first tub of whey protein? You might imagine buying an enormous factory, installing industrial mixing machines, hiring food scientists, building packaging lines, but many new whey brands don't manufacture the powder themselves. Instead, they work with specialized manufacturers that already have the equipment and production systems in place. The brand can focus on choosing the product it wants to sell, while the manufacturer handles much of the physical production. That dramatically lowers the barrier to entering the market. You don't necessarily need to own the factory. You need someone capable of making the product for you. But outsourcing production doesn't mean every whey product has to be identical. The brand still has decisions to make. What type of whey will it use? How much protein should each serving contain? Chocolate, vanilla, something more unusual? Then there are sweeteners, flavor systems, texture, serving size, packaging, and the overall formula. Each decision affects the product customers eventually experience. A few small changes can influence taste, cost, and positioning. The manufacturer may operate the machines, but the brand still has to decide exactly what those machines are going to produce. And that's where the first major challenge appears. Because if you can find a manufacturer, so can someone else. Another entrepreneur can develop a similar formula, choose similar flavors, use similar packaging, and launch another protein brand competing for exactly the same customer. Suddenly, manufacturing isn't the biggest obstacle. Differentiation is the factory can make the powder, it can fill the tubs, it can prepare thousands of units for shipment, but it can't automatically make customers care about the name printed on the label. That part belongs entirely to the brand. Now imagine your finished tub of whey sitting on a website with a premium price tag. At first glance, the economics look incredible. The customer pays far more than the powder itself appears to cost. So it seems like most of that difference must be profit, but the whey is only the beginning. There's the flavoring, the container, the label, the scoop, manufacturing, quality testing, freight, warehousing. Every one of those costs takes another small piece from the sale. And before the product has even reached the customer, that impressive retail price has already started shrinking, and the costs don't stop when manufacturing ends. The finished tubs still need somewhere to go. They may travel from the manufacturer to a warehouse. Then they need to be stored. When a customer places an order, someone has to pick the product, pack it into a box, and ship it. The payment itself may involve processing fees. Returns and damaged packages can create additional costs. And if the product is sold through retailers or distributors, they need their share too. Suddenly, the journey from factory to customer becomes an entire business of its own. But there's one expense that can change the economics more than almost anything else: getting someone to buy the tub in the first place. A new brand has no automatic audience. Customers don't simply appear because a website exists. The company may need advertisements, fitness influencers, sponsorships, discount codes, free samples, content, promotions. All of that costs money. And if acquiring a customer becomes too expensive, a product with an impressive margin on paper can become far less profitable in reality. That's when the economics of whey stop being about protein and start becoming about attention. Here's where the whey business becomes much more complicated. Protein powder is incredibly difficult to differentiate at first glance. Open 2 tubs, and both contain powder. Both may offer similar amounts of protein. Both may come in chocolate or vanilla. And both may make almost identical promises on the label. So how does a customer decide which one to buy? That's where branding enters the business. The colors, the packaging, the name, the athletes associated with it, the lifestyle surrounding it. Suddenly, the company isn't simply competing over what's inside the tub. It's competing over what customers feel when they see the brand. This is why fitness influencers can become incredibly valuable to whey brands. A creator spends years building an audience that trusts their recommendations. Then the brand gains access to that trust. One video can introduce the product to thousands, sometimes millions, of potential customers. Affiliate codes make the relationship even more powerful. The influencer promotes the product, customers receive a discount, and the brand can track exactly where those sales came from. But there's a catch. Every competitor wants access to the same attention. And the more valuable that attention becomes, the more expensive it can become to buy. And that's the strange economics of marketing a whey brand. The company may spend enormous amounts of money just to convince someone to make their first purchase. Advertisements, sponsorships, free products, influencer commissions, discounts, all before knowing whether that customer will ever return. If they buy once and disappear, the economics can become difficult. But if they finish the tub, enjoy the product, and order another. The entire calculation begins to change, because the first sale may simply pay for acquiring the customer. The real profit might not appear until the second, third, or fourth order. For a whey brand, getting someone to buy their first tub feels like a victory. But economically, that first purchase may only be the beginning. Remember all the money spent attracting that customer? Advertisements, influencer commissions, discount codes, free samples, promotions. Some of that expense was required just to generate one order. But something important happens when the tub becomes empty. The brand doesn't necessarily need to convince that customer from zero again. If they liked the taste, trusted the product, and enjoyed using it, they may simply come back and order another. And suddenly, the same customer becomes much more valuable. Now imagine that customer doesn't buy twice. They buy every month. 1 tub becomes 2. 2 becomes 6. 6 becomes 12. Suddenly, the economics look completely different. The company may have spent heavily to acquire that person only once, but it can earn revenue from them again and again. This is why successful whey brands care so much about repeat purchases. Flavor matters. Product quality matters. Customer service matters. Even delivery speed matters, because every good experience increases the chance that when the customer's tub becomes empty, they'll replace it with the same brand. And this reveals something important about who the best customer really is. It's not necessarily the person who places the biggest order today. It's the person who keeps returning tomorrow. A loyal customer can generate revenue for months, or even years. They may recommend the product to friends. They may try new flavors. And once they trust the brand, they may eventually buy other products too. So the company isn't simply trying to sell as many tubs as possible. It's trying to build a relationship that survives after the first tub is empty. Because in a recurring product business, the first purchase gets the customer, the repeat purchase builds the company. Something interesting happens once a customer trusts your whey protein. You've already done the difficult part. They know the brand. They've tasted the product. They've ordered from you before. And most importantly, they trust what they're buying. So the next time that customer needs something for their fitness routine, the brand has another opportunity. Creatine, pre-workout, protein bars, shaker bottles. Instead of convincing a complete stranger to try the company, you're introducing a new product to someone who already believes in the name printed on the package. And that can completely change the economics of the business. This is where a whey company can begin transforming into something much larger. At first, the entire business may revolve around one protein powder, but over time, that product becomes an entry point. Someone discovers the brand through whey. Then they try the creatine. Later, they add pre-workout. Maybe they buy a shaker. Eventually, one customer who originally wanted nothing more than protein powder is purchasing several different products from the same company. The brand no longer needs a completely new audience for every product it launches. It can keep creating more value from the audience it already has. And that's when the business starts looking very different. The whey powder is still important, but it's no longer the entire company. The real asset is becoming the relationship between the brand and its customers. If people trust the name, the company can introduce new flavors, new formulas, new supplements, even entirely new product categories. The same audience can support an expanding business. That's why some of the biggest opportunities in sports nutrition don't come from selling more protein to more strangers. They come from earning enough trust that existing customers want to buy more from the same brand. The whey gets them through the door, but the relationship determines how far the business can grow. At first, owning a whey brand seems like a business about protein powder. Find a manufacturer, create a formula, design a tub, build a website, then sell as many containers as possible. But after looking at the economics, the picture becomes very different. The manufacturer can make the powder, a warehouse can store it, a fulfillment company can ship it, influencers can promote it. Even the formula itself can sometimes be surprisingly similar to what competitors are selling. So if all of those pieces can be replicated, what does the whey brand actually own? The answer isn't sitting inside the tub. It's the relationship surrounding it. Because the most valuable thing a successful whey brand can build is trust. Customers can't easily inspect every ingredient themselves. They can't stand inside the factory. They don't personally watch every batch being produced. So they rely on something else. Reputation, consistency, their previous experience with the product, and confidence in the name printed on the container. Once that trust exists, it becomes incredibly powerful. The customer doesn't need to reconsider every competitor each time their tub becomes empty. They already know what they like, and instead of searching again, they simply come back. And that's what makes the economics of a whey brand so interesting. The powder gets consumed, the tub gets thrown away, advertisements disappear, influencer campaigns eventually end. Even individual products can be replaced. But if customers continue trusting the brand, the business survives all of them. They return for another tub. They try another flavor. They buy the creatine, maybe the pre-workout, maybe whatever product comes next, and suddenly the company isn't simply selling protein powder anymore. It's monetizing a relationship it spent years building because the factory makes the whey. The packaging makes it recognizable, the marketing gets the first purchase. But the brand does something far more valuable. It gives the customer a reason to come back.